heart attack. Fast, fatal, hard impact. Past painful scars, in fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact, don't ask, grab reactions, jacked, attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose. Pick a new submerged juice. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember you're discreet now. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do begin, let us give a brief little review. Now, in the last part we had Izumi and Bakugo. These two have found themselves in Night City, and they're doing what they need to survive. Kill, shoot, steal, murder. Hey, that's all on the agenda for Night City. They've spent 5 months there, and in this amount of time, they've done a lot. They've found that there are memories in their head, and they've been using those to their advantage to survive. Now, these two have actually started to understand how things work here. However, they are still bothered by a little bit of things. How casual the law can just be thrown to the side, that's still something they're trying to get used to, since that wasn't really the case in either of their normal lives. Second, they were trying to get used to the idea of just, going for money. Now, they were still getting accustomed to that. As their last buyer for a job, they didn't exactly like the information they got. Now, Bakugo and Izumi quite simply told this guy to fuck off. Now, with that, we actually have over with Izuku and Katsuki. These two have had things a little bit rougher. They were in that fantasy world for 2 years. And after a mission gone wrong, they found themselves washed up by a lake at night. And they had no memory of what happened. Deku, he nursed Bakugo back to health. Since, because she was hit with a paralyzing agent, she also was exposed to the cold water, and her injuries, they weren't exactly too good. Now, Bakugo, after being nursed back to health, her and Deku started to try and get things in order. Now, with that being said, let's actually pick up with them, since we reviewed them second, and it'll be a lot easier. For Izuku and Katsuki, these two, they found it weird. Deku can create flames from his hand, and Bakugo, she can't do that. Along with that, there's just what they have. They have the clothes on their backs, and that's it. Deku's ability. And so far, getting by isn't too easy. You can scavenge the area and try to take on animals, but if you don't know what you're doing, then you're fucked. Now, Izuku and Katsuki quickly started to discover a few things. Basically, which plants are edible, which are not, and exactly how to create weapons. Now, muscle memory is still there, and there's the way they feel about what they're doing in their own heads. It feels a little natural. I mean, yeah, it's a bit strange, but after a sharp stick, what else can you do? Get a rock, do this, do that, and eventually you're going somewhere. Now, with that being said, we actually will cut up to about a year later. And these two, yeah, they lived in the cave, and nearby is a fresh source of water. So this is already a good location. And they have been looking around. They've thought about trying to find other people. However, from what they have found, it raises more questions than answers. Izuku, he found an old car, and calling it a car is very generous. It is a rusted out hunk of metal that is sitting there. And Deku, whenever he did find something inside of it, he was surprised. He found a journal in the back seat, and it was in a bag. Deku took the bag, and he found something strange. The items inside the bag, they looked pretty old. And so did this paper in this book. I mean, these pages, they're so messed up. And what is this stuff on it? Okay, this is all weird. Now, we do cut to outside the story. We're currently two versions of Deku. They're watching over it. And one, they're not really present at the moment. They're observing, watching. And right now, we do actually have Demon Lord Deku and the Hacker Deku. Both of these two, they're looking at this version of Deku, wondering exactly what he's going to be doing. Did you really think that was a good idea? What was? You really sent him to that world. Don't you think he'll be annoyed? I'm sure he'll be fine. Besides, he has no taste for it. He forgot about it as soon as he left. And from what I can tell, he shouldn't care. This place has been abandoned for hundreds of years. I understand that. But he hasn't destroyed that reality. I understand that. It's his reality. Why would he destroy it? Yes. Okay. You don't get it, do you? Whenever I say original reality, I mean it's ground zero reality. For all of us. Okay. I got that. So what? Okay. You know what he does to the worlds after you go away from them, right? I do. But this one, if it is ground zero, he can't destroy it. He will create a paradox in his own existence. And if he creates that paradox, he never creates us. Then, we never perform the action that led to the paradox. Okay, you don't seem to understand. I understand perfectly clearly exactly what I'm doing. Besides, not every reality is destroyed once it goes past it. Really? How are you even aware of that? Well, whereas you are a fixed power, I am not. You're the demigod of us. Remember that. I remember it quite well. However, you don't seem to understand your own limitations. You find that surprising? At one point, I was where you were, whenever we discovered this. Whenever we found the other versions of ourselves. You think that will change something? You were stronger than me at one point, weren't you? And now what? You are at the bottom, ranking. The only one of us who isn't on the same level as any of us is you. And the one who doesn't even really have reality powers. He had to get and copy a version from his own son. Don't you think that that's hilarious? We have a son somewhere who can manipulate reality. And he can forge universes. Besides, from what I understand, he has toyed with them. Okay, fine. But if this comes back to bite you in the ass, I don't want to hear it. Now, we do cut back into the story, where Deku, he's looking inside the notebook. This doesn't make sense. Okay. No. A war? So much death. That can't be right. Now, Deku would have returned back to Bakugo, and he would have tried to explain it. Sometime in the past, there was a war. Just nukes flying, and that's it. I mean, that's all they have. Looking at the information, it's only a few weeks after the nukes hit, and not much happened. But whenever they found the city, they thought they found more evidence of survivors. They found that that wasn't true. Now, I won't really bother explaining it, so let's break it down. Nuclear war that would kill billions within the first day, if not oncoming weeks. Nuclear winter. Poison water and poison groundwater. Along with that, the fact is, anyone who would survive, they would either die from radiation poisoning or have something wrong happen with their genetics. And if those get passed down, yeah, that doesn't do anyone any favors. So, the world would go to shit like that, and just as fast, humanity, they went extinct in this timeline. Now, as sad as that does sound, that's what happened. That being what Deku and Bakugo they learned. And right now, a year later, after learning all this information, the two, they've come to a bit of a conclusion. They may be the only people left on Earth. And somehow, they're alive. I mean, from what they've looked at, from what they've seen, this is a fucking forest in a city. Right in front of them, the street underneath them, and the collapsed buildings in the distance. I mean, this place was huge, but everything they're seeing is just surreal. Looking at it is giving them a headache. It's just, it freaks them out, but they're so perplexed. How, how is this possible? They woke up in a river and climbed out of it, and somehow the world ended and they lost their memories. Now, Bakugo and Deku, both of these two, they're frightened by this idea. Whatever is going on, they're the only ones that's left. They're just it's almost a process at once. Now, we do actually have the two are scavenging. And right now, both of them, they are in a store. And Deku, yeah. He actually does go to walk around a corner with a shopping cart he's pushing. And after he does go to walk around it, he does get to hold something up, asking if she thinks that this is still good. Hmm? What is that? Uh, I don't know. There's no label. Okay, shake it. Uh, no. Wait, that sounds like a fruit. Are you sure it's a fruit? There's liquid inside. Okay, but that doesn't mean anything. It could be a soup. I know we found that one soup and it tasted like shit, but it was still good. Especially whenever we killed that animal and we used some of its meat. Yeah, you're right about that. But I think just grilling the meat was also good too. Okay, so what did you want to do? Uh, hmm. Well, we could try. No, that doesn't sound right. Listen, we might not have enough supplies or anything right now, but what if we just open up some of the cans and see what we can make? Make a bigger meal, I mean. Hmm? Really? Yeah. I mean, it sounds good, right? Yeah, it does, but if we cooked something large or with enough odor, we're gonna attract predators again. Hmm? Okay, I understand, but seriously, wouldn't it be a good idea? I mean, we eat 2 meals a day, and they're not really that big. I'm tired. I know you're tired. I'm just hungry. Besides, rationing meat and trying to keep everything together, that's hard. I'm still trying to read that one book about a generator. I mean, granted, the book's what? I don't even know how old, but it still is there. I can do whatever I can. We can try and get a generator going and try to at least have power. Do you even know what you're talking about at this point? I know what I'm talking about, Bakugo. Listen, We have to find a place to huddle down. Whenever winter comes around, we're lucky we survived last time. What about your power? Yeah, my power. You remember what happened last time I had to use it like that? I was worn out. Hell, I burned through more food. That's why I'm saying we need to get power going. Fine. Okay, let's come to a bit of an agreement. If we find another can that sounds like it could be something soupy, we open both the cans and see what it is. And if it is a soup, we'll looking for a generator. We'll have it on a list. Okay? Now, Deku does somewhat smile, as he's gonna walk over and try to look a bit more. And right now he does find something surprising. As after they do walk into the back, and Deku he does try to look for a few other cans, and he does get to toss around a few and then go to pick up a container. He does look down at it. No way. What is it? What'd you find? Deku pulling it out. As he does hold it up. Holy shit. What is that? I think it's a gun. You found a gun? Yeah. Deku gonna someone look up. As he's talking about how, look at him. Now, Deku is gonna turn and swing the gun outwards. And Bakugo, she's gonna bring up her hands and throw them outwards. Her trying to duck. Jesus! Okay. Don't do that. It's fine, it's fine. It's not even loaded. Are you sure? Hang on. Deku pressing onto the side of it and going to open the revolver. As he does see a few bullets. Oh. It is loaded. Okay. Fuck you. Second, how many shots are inside? 6. Are you sure? Hang on. Deku grabbing onto, well, the cylinder, and then going to press his hand or palm into it. Going to pull the gun upwards and look on the front of the bullets. Now, where you would see the metallic tip, one of those tips are missing. And Deku, he does go to pull the bullet outwards and find it empty. Oh. It's a 6-shooter, but one bullet's missing. Oh. That doesn't sound good. Yeah, but we have 5 shots, though. Deku going to put the cylinder back inside the gun, and go to put it into his waistband. Alright, that's good, though. Okay, there's nothing but tin cans in this bucket. So, next building? Yeah, next building. Now, the two do walk out. And right now, Bakugo and Deku, they are somewhat still trying to think. It's felt awkward. I mean, somehow they're alive. Somehow the fucking apocalypse happened and they survived. And they don't have any memories. I mean, they're making some now, but all it really is working together, trying to survive, get to the next day and have a proper meal. It's not really that they're memories, it's more like a partnership. Now, with that, the two, they continue looking around the city. And for right now, the block they are on, they actually do find some decent stuff. They find a few tin cans with no labels on them. And after shaking a few of them, they find that some of them, they may contain liquid. So, there is a possible soup. Now, the two would leave. And they would retreat very quickly to a place nearby they have secured. Now, with that being said, we do actually cut over to Bakugo and Izumi in Night City. Now, the two, they actually have been through a little bit of things. After they sold their buyer some data that he didn't like, he called them, got their information, and they hunted down the guy who handed over their numbers to the buyer. Now, the guy obviously thought that he can get some extra money, so he'll fuck over his contact and get some extra pocket change. However, that ended in a manhunt, where they called their guy and told him what was happening, waited an hour, and then hunt the fucker down, because why not? Now, after that happened, them hunting this guy down, there actually was the buyer, who he wanted more information about what the hell they had, and he thought that Bakugo and Izumi screwed him over. Now, after Izumi and Bakugo basically thought they could just get over it and live their lives, there was how things went. Bakugo and Izumi kept trying to steal. They kept trying to take. And they were taking on different jobs that would just bring in the cash. And after some time, one of those jobs, it may or may not have put them back on the radar of the very same buyer, who he just so happened to see their names and pictures of their faces. And right now, he had a lot to make them answer for. They fucked him over. And whenever he tried to get into contact with the buyer to get more information, he found a dead end. Quite literally. Now, that annoyed him. And after seeing these two once again, he had a plan. Ambush them. Kill them, and make an example of them. Since people, they haven't really been treating him the same, since he may or may not have gotten fucked over. Now, after the guy tried to set a trap, Izumi and Bakugo, they walked into it. The guy gave out a false name, and he offered double their standard rate. And that kind of became a priority job. And these two, after heading in, they found quite a bit. They found a few guys. They found a car, and they found that once they got into the car and were trying to talk to their contact, the man inside, he did one simple thing. He brought out a gun and informed both of them what was going to be happening. As when they tried to grab their own weapons, there was the fact that the two men who were inside with this guy, they had rifles. And Izumi, yeah, this is one of those emergency situations. And right now, she's going to throw up her own hands, after she was told to put them in the air. The moment she was going to bring up her hands, she was going to directly grab the rifles out of the air and swing them. As the men, they feel the weapons get pulled from their grip and turn back around. And the moment firing does start, the vehicle goes out of control. Now, the person who's driving, they're swerving around, and they're basically trying to not get shot. However, after taking 2 or 3 bullets into the chest area of their body, yeah, that kind of didn't become a priority. They sort of just slumped against the wheel and felt the pain run through them. As off of the street and directly smashing into something that causes a pretty good impact. Now, with that, there is how Izumi and Bakugo got away from that. Or rather, how one of them walked away. The guys inside tried to rush Bakugo, and Bakugo, he tried to fight back. Him attempting to use some of his own cybernetics, and that was where problems happened. Izumi stayed still, her with her seatbelt on. However, Bakugo was ready to fight. He felt things were suspicious here. And after the crash, Izumi, she was still in her seat. However, after trying to climb out of the car, she found that Bakugo, him and another guy, they smashed directly out of the car. And they are both laying on the ground. And Izumi, she's trying to shake things off. As when she does go to try and walk over to Bakugo, there is the other person, or the third man inside the car. The one who didn't have an assault rifle. Now, the guy does come climbing out, him somewhat limping, and with a wound in his shoulder, trying to express exactly that they fucked over his boss. What are you talking about? A couple months back, the data he called you. You, in the best terms, told him to fuck off. That's what this is about? Alright, listen. Her gonna bring up her hands. And directly grabbing the guy and pulling him up into the air. And the moment the guy does get off of the ground, he is very confused. What the fuck? Now, Izumi gonna tell him that their boss got all the data they found. And if they were gonna try and fuck someone over, they wouldn't do so for the price they got it at. That would just show irresponsibility. There is a fucking code in Night City, and everybody who's anybody fucking knows it. Don't fuck with the big guys, because killing you is as simple as waving a hand and telling someone to do it with a gun. Now, that was how things were. However, for the little guy, yeah, that's more boots on the ground type stuff. And these guys, they're easy to handle, easy to spot, easy to know. I mean, they're fucking amateurs. But the guys that they deal with, yeah, the ones they don't want to fuck with, they are not that. They've been in the game longer than you could be alive. And that says a lot. Now, Izumi, she does kill the guy. However, after doing this, we do actually have where Bakugo and Izumi, they try to get away. And after cops show up and a pursuit happens, one of them is shot. And the other, they're currently driving away from the city and trying to help their friend. Since it's all bad. It is all really, really fucking bad. Now, with that, we actually do have Bakugo, who he is driving a red car and telling Izumi to not worry. Bakugo, are we good? We're fine. Listen, are you alright? The cop got you pretty bad, didn't he? He got me pretty good. I need to go to a hospital. We can't go to a fucking hospital, Izumi. Listen, I don't know when we're gonna jump, but injuries heal, right? Huh? Injuries heal, right? I don't know. Listen, whenever we jump, we'll be good. We'll be fine. I mean, what is it? We didn't have cybernetics before, but now we do. And whenever we jump, we won't just be missing those parts, right? They'll be back. So that means that our bodies will be restored. Bakugo, that's some stupid logic. Okay, hey, keep your eyes open. You've lost a lot of blood. Don't fucking fall asleep on me, alright? Bakugo? Yeah? You're a good friend. Okay, fine, yeah, you're a good friend too. But why are you getting all sappy on me right now? You remind me a lot of her. Okay, are you done being sappy on me, or are you going to try and focus on keeping your eyes open? Now, Izumi is just going to look over at Bakugo, and she's going to somewhat smile before slumping forwards onto the dash. And Bakugo, he does go directly pull off to the side of the road and hit the brakes, as he needs to help her right now. And as the two, they pull over onto the side of the road, and Bakugo tries to get his friend out of the car, you do actually have some people who are nearby. They saw the car pull away, and off the road. They had a bit of a roadblock a few, miles up. And right now, they're surprised to see that this guy, he stopped right there with them, looking right at him. You might as well have been caught with your pants down. Now, with that being said, I do believe that is a good point to leave this part off of. And I do hope you guys enjoyed. Have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.